Los Angeles, March 1972, 3:17 a.m. Bruce Lee's phone rings. He's been asleep for 2 hours. Training tomorrow. Early, he considers, ignoring it. But something tells him, answer. Hello? Heavy breathing. On the other end, then a voice. Deep, broken. Is this Bruce Lee? Yes, who is this? Johnny Cash. I'm sorry for calling. So late. I didn't know who else to call. Bruce sits up. Johnny Cash, the man in black, country music legend, calling him at 3 a.m. Something is very wrong. Are you okay? Silence. Then, no. That conversation changes both men forever. Let me tell you about the night a legend called for help and found it in the most unexpected place. 1972, Johnny Cash is drowning. To the world, he's at the top. Grammy Awards, sold-out shows, million-dollar contracts, the Johnny Cash Show on television. Everyone loves him. But Johnny is dying inside. The pills started years ago. Amphetamines to perform, barbiturates to sleep. Now, he can't function without them, can't stop taking them. His wife, June, tries to help, hides the pills, watches him constantly, begs him to stop. But addiction is stronger. Johnny feels like two people, the man everyone sees and the man he actually is. The gap between them growing every day. He thinks about ending it often. Not suicide exactly, just stopping, stop performing, stop pretending, stop existing as Johnny Cash. March 15th, 1972. Johnny has a show in Las Vegas, takes pills to get ready. Too many. Goes on stage, forgets lyrics, stumbles, slurs words. The audience, uncomfortable. June watches from backstage, heartbroken. After the show, Johnny sits in his dressing room, alone, staring at himself in the mirror. He doesn't recognize the man looking back. Where did Johnny Cash go? When did this stranger take his place? He thinks about Bruce Lee. Strange thought, but he'd read an interview last week, Bruce talking about identity. I am not teaching you karate or kung fu. I am teaching you to know yourself, the real you, not the image others expect. Johnny had cut out that quote, kept it in his wallet, because it spoke to something he couldn't articulate. The feeling of being lost inside your own success. Johnny makes a decision, desperate decision. He'll call Bruce Lee, total stranger, but maybe the only person who might understand what it's like to lose yourself in who everyone thinks you are. He gets the number through connections, industry people, know people. 3 a.m. Johnny is alone in his hotel room. June is asleep next door. He's been awake for 36 hours, pills keeping him up. He dials, hands shaking. Bruce answers. Johnny explains, I read your interview about identity, about being your true self, not the image. I'm calling because I don't know who I am anymore. Bruce listens, says nothing. Johnny continues. Everyone sees Johnny Cash, the man in black, the legend, the star. But I don't know who that is. I just play him on stage, in interviews, in my own life. The pills help me play the role, but they're killing me, and I can't stop taking them, because without them, I can't be who everyone expects. Bruce speaks quietly. Where are you? Las Vegas, Sands Hotel. I'll be there in 4 hours. Johnny is shocked. You don't have to. I'll be there. Bruce hangs up, gets dressed, doesn't wake Linda, leaves a note. Emergency. Back tonight. Drives to Las Vegas, 280 miles, through the desert, alone, at dawn, thinking about Johnny Cash, about himself, about the burden of being more than human. Bruce understands completely. He faces the same struggle every day. People expect Bruce Lee, the dragon, the fighter, the superhuman. When he's tired, when he's hurt, when he's uncertain, he still has to be. Bruce Lee, the persona, is crushing him, just like it's crushing Johnny. 7 a.m., Bruce arrives at the Sands, calls Johnny's room. "I'm here." Johnny comes down to the lobby, wearing sunglasses, inside, trying to hide. They shake hands, two legends, meeting for the first time in a crisis. "Thank you for coming. Let's walk." They go outside, into the desert, behind the hotel, where nobody can see them, where nobody expects anything. They walk in silence for 20 minutes. Then Bruce speaks. "Tell me who you were before you became Johnny Cash." Johnny thinks. J.R. Cash, poor kid, from Arkansas, picked cotton, joined the Air Force, loved music. What did J.R. want? To sing, to write songs, to tell stories about real life, real pain, real hope. And what does Johnny Cash want? Johnny stops walking, thinks, realizes, I don't know. I lost him, somewhere, between the image and the reality. Bruce nods. Same with me. Bruce Jun Fan Lee wanted to teach, to express himself, through movement. Bruce Lee has to be invincible, perfect, superhuman. The gap between them is exhausting. Johnny looks at him. How do you handle it? Bruce is honest. I don't. Not well. I push my body beyond limits, take risks. I shouldn't, because Bruce Lee can't be weak. But Bruce Jun Fan is tired and scared and uncertain. Johnny feels less alone. The pills help me bridge the gap. They make me into what people expect. Bruce understands. I use different things, training until I collapse, work until I forget who I am. Same escape, different method. They sit on a rock in the desert, dawn light spreading. Two men, not legends, just humans, struggling. If you love Bruce Lee stories, subscribe. I post rare stories every day. Bruce asks, what would happen if you stopped being Johnny Cash for one day? Johnny considers, I don't know. I've never tried. Try now, here, with me. Nobody watching, nobody expecting. Just be J.R. Johnny removes his sunglasses, his rings, his persona, sits quietly, feels the sun, hears the silence. For the first time in years, he's not performing, not being Johnny Cash, just existing as himself. The feeling is terrifying and liberating. I forgot what this feels like. Bruce smiles. This is the real you. Not the pills, not the performance. This. They sit for an hour, saying nothing, just being present. Then Bruce teaches Johnny something simple, standing meditation. Stand, feet shoulder width, knees slightly bent, arms at sides, breathe. When thoughts come about who you should be, let them pass. Return to your breath, your body, this moment. Johnny tries, struggles, mind racing, about the show tonight, the pills in his room, the expectations. Bruce guides him. Notice the thoughts. Don't fight them. Just return to breathe. Slowly, Johnny settles into his body, into the moment, into himself. They practice for 30 minutes. After, Johnny feels different, clearer, more himself than he has in years. What is this? Bruce explains. Presence, being here, now, as you are, not as you should be. The pills take you away from this moment. The performance takes you away from yourself. This practice brings you back. Johnny absorbs this. Can I keep doing this? Every day, morning, before, you become Johnny Cash. Spend 10 minutes being JR. Remember who you are, Underneath, the image. Johnny nods, takes out his wallet, removes the quote he'd saved, hands it to Bruce. "This is why I called you. I knew you'd understand." Bruce reads it, his own words. "I am teaching you to know yourself, the real you, not the image others expect." He smiles. "I need to remember this, too." They walk back to the hotel. Johnny feels lighter, not fixed, but hopeful. For the first time in months. Before Bruce leaves, Johnny asks, "Will this be enough to beat the addiction?" Bruce is honest. "I don't know. Addiction is powerful, but so is knowing yourself. The pills help you escape yourself. This practice helps you return to yourself. The question is, which feels better in the long run?" Johnny understands. They shake hands. "Thank you for driving 280 miles for a stranger." Bruce smiles. "Not a stranger, a brother, fighting the same battle against losing himself." Bruce drives home. Johnny goes upstairs to his room, stares at the pills on the nightstand for a long time, then flushes them down the toilet. Not all of them, but some. It's a start. The months that follow are brutal. Johnny relapses multiple times. The addiction doesn't disappear because of one conversation, but something has shifted. Every morning, before he becomes Johnny Cash, he practices standing meditation, 10 minutes, breathing, being JR, remembering who he is, underneath the image. Slowly, over months, then years, he gets better. Not perfect, never perfect, but better. June notices, "Something changed. In Las Vegas. You won't tell me what, but I'm grateful." Johnny never tells her. About Bruce, about the call, about the walk in the desert. It's private, sacred, between two men who understood each other's struggle. 1973, Johnny records an album, gospel songs, raw, honest, vulnerable, not performing, just expressing who he really is. Critics notice, this is different, more authentic, less polished, more real. It becomes one of his most beloved albums. July 20th, 1973, Bruce Lee dies. Johnny hears on the news. Devastated. He's alone, in his tour bus, sits down, practices the meditation Bruce taught him. Cries, for Bruce, for himself, for the brother he lost, who saved him in the desert. That morning, Johnny writes a song, never releases it, too personal, called "The Man I Met at Dawn," about a stranger who drove 280 miles to sit with him in his darkness and show him the way back to himself. The lyrics include, "He didn't fix me, he didn't save me, he just sat with me in the desert and showed me I was still there, underneath the pills, the performance, the pain. I was still there." June finds the song. After Johnny dies, in 2003, reads the lyrics, cries, finally understands what happened. In Las Vegas in 1972, she releases the song, posthumously, with a note. Johnny never explained who this song was about, but whoever you are, thank you for being there when he needed someone. Martial artists recognize the description. Bruce Lee. The meditation practice, the philosophy, the date, March 1972. They piece it together, tell the story. Of the 3 a.m. call, the 280-mile drive, the desert walk, the meditation lesson that helped Johnny find himself again. If you love Bruce Lee's stories, subscribe. I post rare stories every day. The story spreads. Fans of both are moved. Two legends, both struggling with identity, with pressure, with addiction to image. One helped, the other find his way back. Others reflect. Bruce was fighting the same battle, but took time to help Johnny, even though he couldn't save himself. Music historians note, Johnny's best work came after 1972. More authentic, less performed. Something shifted. Now we know what. Martial artists understand. Bruce taught what he needed to learn himself, how to return to who you are underneath expectations. The lesson is universal. Fame creates a persona that consumes the person. Johnny Cash, the man in black, consumed J.R. Cash, the man. Bruce Lee, the dragon, consumed Bruce Jun Fan Lee, the human. Both struggled to remember who they were before the world told them who to be. That morning, in the desert, they helped each other remember, even if just for an hour. The meditation practice Bruce taught saved Johnny's life. Not immediately, not perfectly, but enough to give him years more of authentic music, of genuine connection, of being himself, not just playing himself. Johnny's daughter, Roseanne Cash, responds to the story. I remember Dad practicing something every morning before shows, standing still, breathing. He never explained what it was. Now I understand he was finding himself before losing himself in performance. Bruce's daughter, Shannon Lee, also responds. My father believed teaching was learning. He taught Johnny what he struggled to do himself, return to authenticity beneath the image. The story becomes a lesson about fame, about identity, about the courage to help others, even when you're struggling yourself. Bruce drove 280 miles at dawn for a stranger who was drowning, not in water, in image, in expectations, in the gap between who he was and who the world demanded him to be. Bruce didn't fix him, didn't save him, just sat with him and showed him he was still there. J.R. Cash still existed underneath Johnny Cash. That's all Johnny needed to begin the journey back to himself. The 3 a.m. call was a cry for help. The 280-mile drive was an answer. The desert walk was a rescue, not from death, from disappearing into your own legend. That's the reason Johnny called. That's why it breaks your heart, because both men knew what it's like to lose yourself in being larger than life, and both tried desperately to hold on to the human underneath the hero.